Hi, folks. This is Joshua Cohen. I'm the student loan lawyer. We are playing with Facebook Live for the first time here, so I'm going to apologize in advance if this is not working the way we hope it to. I am hoping to find some comments that are posted for those of you that are watching that do have some questions. For now, I just want to talk about what's going on in the world of student loans with the COVID-19. You saw some things that came out earlier this week that interest is reduced to 0% on federal student loans that are held by the Department of Education. They are also allowing a 60-day forbearance. If you request it, you have to contact your servicer, which gets interesting because, one, servicers are on a skeleton crew right now, so you're going to have long hold times. The good news is if you're already late, more than 31 days, then it's automatic. We will see how that goes. So if you're already a little behind in your payments but not yet default, the 60-day forbearance will automatically kick in. So if you're finding you can't get through to your servicer, just don't pay it. Be 30 days late, and then the 60-day forbearance will kick in anyway. Don't worry about credit reporting. They don't do that until you're 60 to 90 days late. So if this is your first month you're missing, then the 60-day will kick in. If you're already behind but not yet in default, then the 60-day forbearance is automatically kicked in. Again, that's only for direct loans. Those are loans held by the Department of Education that are perhaps serviced by companies such as Great Lakes, Navient, I'm blanking right now, Fed loan servicing, especially for those of you that are doing public service loan forgiveness, you should have Fed loan servicing. But also go to your servicer's website and see if they have an expedited way to do it through the website so you're not waiting on hold for hours and hours. So more importantly, what just rolled out late last night, early this morning, is for those of you that are in default, they will be ceasing all collection activities on default type loans. So if you have a tax refund that is set to be offset, they won't do that. Social Security offsets will stop. If you have a wage garnishment, they will stop that. Again, the biggest caveat here is, again, it's only for loans held by the Department of Education. That would be direct loans. And there are some FFEL loans that, if they've been in default long enough, they've been rolled over to the Department of Education. Perhaps you're with a company called ECMC, Education Credit Management Corporation. If you've been in default for a while, they may have turned it over to the Department of Education. And if that's the case, then collection activity stops. If your loans are still with companies like Trellis, formerly known as Texas Guarantee, or Ascendium, formerly known as Great Lakes, or you're with United Student Aid Funds, those are all guarantee agencies. Those are FFEL loans, and you don't qualify for everything that just came down. It is at the discretion of those guarantee agencies if they want to cease collections or not. Obviously, the best thing to do would be get your loan out of default. But for now, again, if you're with direct loans, you're not going to feel the pressure because they're going to stop everything. One annoying thing about that wage garnishment stop, it's up to you to contact your HR department and tell them to stop the garnishment. I don't know if they're going to listen to you, so I would encourage you to get a copy of the order, which I will be posting as soon as I can, and we'll see from there. I'm going to see if we have any questions at this time, if I can see any. I don't see any yet. So that's really what's come down. Again, 0% interest is only for direct loans, 60-day forbearance only for direct loans, garnishment cessation only for direct loans or FFELs that have been turned over to the Department of Education. So the tax refund, this is interesting. This only went into effect, they're backdating it to March 13th. So if you just recently filed your taxes and are expecting a refund, you'll get it, again, if you have a direct loan. If you lost your refund prior to March 13th, we don't know if you're going to get them back. There's stuff floating around that says you might. all I can say is it's worth a try. Or you may just want to sit back and do nothing and see what happens. Perhaps you'll get a check anyway for a refund. Understand that doesn't mean your loan is out of default. It's not. Nothing's happening to your loans. They are where they are. Now is really a good time to take advantage of the fact that there's no garnishments, there's no Social Security offsets, and that you're keeping your tax refund. Now is a really good time to do something about those loans that are in default. What are some of those things? If you're in default, often you can consolidate your loans out of default, and you can always do a rehabilitation. For those of you that are on active rehabilitations right now, those payments are also suspended if you want. Again, if you have a direct loan or if it's an FFEL that's been turned over to the Department of Education. So if you need help with that, I suggest going to studentaid.gov and pulling up your student loan information. It will tell you clearly where your loans are. They have revamped that site earlier this month, actually. And that's where I would start. Consolidation is usually the quicker way out of default. It's done within 30 to 90 days. And you sign up for an income-driven repayment at the same time. Now is also a good time to look at what's going on with your payments, and income-driven repayment can be very advantageous for you. If you're already on an IDR, an income-driven repayment, you might want to reevaluate what your payment is. While, again, for direct loans, you can have a 60-day forbearance, at least 60 days. This may drag on longer. They may extend it longer. But some of you might decide to just adjust your IDR. So if your hours have been reduced or if you've been let go, then your income's gone down. And if it's gone down, you can have your IDR recalculated. So, and that's easy enough. Just take the IDR application, check the box that says recalculation because circumstances have changed, and you get that to your servicer. Why would you do that instead of a forbearance? Really, the biggest reason I think is for public service loan forgiveness. If you're eligible for public service loan forgiveness, you probably want to keep making payments. If you've been let go, then these payments won't count towards public service loan forgiveness because you're not still employed by a qualifying either government or a 501c3. But if you are still on payroll, and perhaps you've been furloughed or your hours have been reduced, then if we can drop your payments and you can afford them, then they're going to still qualify for public service loan forgiveness. Now, there is information floating around that says if you take the special forbearance, that forbearance months will count. I haven't really dug into it to look deeply if they will still count or not. So again, I also like the IDR payments anyway because then you're still keeping up with everything. I don't know how much I trust the Department of Education, and again, I haven't seen anything in writing. I haven't dug, but I haven't seen anything that says the PSLF will still count. It was something they were floating around. We don't know what's going to happen with the Senate packages or the House packages with the COVID-19. That's still, the Senate hasn't signed off yet, and we don't know where they're going to go with that. But for now, what you're seeing is through executive action, again, collection activity stops on direct loans or FFELs turned over, things of that sort. Somebody wanted to know if loans through Navient are affected by this. The answer is I don't know, because loans through Navient can mean several things. It could be a private loan, in which case not affected by any of this. It could be a federal loan that was originated through Navient. That would be an example of an FFEL, in which case, no, none of this helps them. Or they could have a direct loan, meaning it's through the Department of Education, but serviced through Navient. And if that's the case, yes, all of this affects them. So if Navient is simply their servicer for a loan held by Department of Education, then yes, they're getting a 0% interest right now, and they're eligible for that at least 60-day forbearance. So good question. real quick, I sort of touched upon it, direct loan versus FFEL. A direct loan means you took the loan out directly from the Department of Education. It's being serviced by Navient or Great Lakes or Fed Loan Servicing or Nelnet, and there's 5 other companies that do it. If the loan is owned or held by anyone other than the Department of Education, if it's owned by Navient or if it's owned by Great Lakes, then it's an FFEL, and none of this is helping them. You can get on the bandwagon and convert those FFELs into direct loans by simply doing a consolidation. Those take 30 to 90 days to process. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to post this on my Facebook page for now. And if you have questions or even just general concerns, feel free to comment. And I'm going to hold another Facebook Live session next week, and I will answer those questions live so that people can get those answers. Or if you have questions, you can ask during the live session as well. Also, feel free to circulate this to your friends and family. Just a quick reminder, even though there are things going on that will help us for now, remember, this is just a Band-Aid, and a Band-Aid doesn't help a stab wound. And student loans are often like a stab wound. So now is actually a great time to take care of your loans, specifically if you're in default, or especially if you're in default. Now's a great time to get it out of default, especially through consolidation if you can, because in 30 to 90 days, I think we're still going to be in a similar situation, which means you'll come out, you'll be eligible for the special forbearance, or perhaps if things aren't working out for you, you can have a very low income-driven repayment plan, and know that when we get out of all of this mess, your loans will be in good standing and you can carry on. So I want to thank you for joining me. And again, my name is Joshua Cohen. I'm a student loan lawyer. You can reach me through my website at www.thestudentloanlawyer.com. Thank you very much. Bye now.